Hey folks, Bruce here from For Low Life, and today I thought I'd switch things up a little bit. So switches, there's so many different kinds. They all have different nomenclatures. What do they mean? What are all the pins on the back and what can we do with them? I'm going to start out with a basic switch. Here's an on-off switch, and on the back it's got two pins. This is a pretty simple, it's either on or it's off switch. This is what's known as a single pole, single throw switch. That means you can switch positive or negative. Think of that as the pole. Positive, negative is a pole. And it's a single throw. It's one way or the other. It does one thing. Single pole, single throw switch. Use it to interrupt your positive signal, turn your lights on and off. Basic switch. Okay? Now, here's another one. On off. This one on the back has 4 pins. What's the difference? Well, the idea of this is a double pole as compared to the single pole. It's doing the same thing, but it's basically 2 switches in one. So this is what's known as a double pole, single throw. I can switch positive and negative. They're both separate. Or I can switch 2 positive circuits or 2 negative circuits. They're going to go at the same time, and there's a single throw. There's one position, on or off. So, single pole, single throw, also known as SPST, if you're looking in a book to buy them. And this is a double pole, single throw, or DPST. Okay? Both pretty basic types of switches. Beyond that, we can get into, here's another example. Single pole, single throw. On, off. Does one thing, one pole. Here's another style. Tab is in the middle versus one at each end. These do the same thing. On, off. Okay? Pretty straightforward. We can now get into a single pole, positive only or negative only, but this is a double throw. So I can switch on something here, off in the middle, and something else on here. So if I want to have one thing or another running, I can use this to switch on one thing or another. So if I want reverse lights on or forward lights on, I can switch forward, off, reverse, if I never want them on at the same time. Single pole, positive only or negative only, double throw, goes 2 ways. SP, DT. Now, we can get into even more complicated. This one has 6 pins on the back. This makes it a double pole because it's got 2 halves. So that would be positive, that would be negative, or vice versa, or 2 positives. Double throw because it can go this way or this way. And we're going to take this one more step further. If you look on here, you can see the on, off, on are in brackets. The ons are in brackets because it's momentary. Okay? Anytime I let go of that switch, it's going to return to the off position. That is an on, off, on. Double pole, double throw. Don't worry, when you think about it, it's not really that complicated. Double pole, I've got basically 2 switches inside here that are separated from each other. Double throw, it can go 2 different directions. What would I use something like that for? I can make a winch go in when I hold it and out when I hold it. Okay? That double pole, double throw allows me to have 2 polarities in 2 directions. Okay? Very useful type of switch to have. You've got to do a little bit of configuring on the back if you want it to run a winch, but overall, there is a pretty complex switch for something this size that can do some pretty complex things. What else have I got in here? This one's pretty straightforward. That's a push button switch. 2 wires on it, so this is a single pole, single throw, momentary. So this is an on in brackets, off. It's only on when I push it. Horn button, something like that. Temporary thing if you want to, I don't know, unlock your doors. Could be a door unlock button, anything like that. 2 wires, 2 connections on the back, single pole, positive or negative, single throw. Can only do one thing, on or off, and it's momentary. Last one I have here. What is that? Okay, this is completely unmarked, other than it's a window switch. If I look at this, this is a rocker style switch compared to a toggle. It has two directions, they're momentary. So this is an on, off, on switch. Looking into the connections, which are a little hard to see in there are 4. That's an odd number for a single pole, single throw switch. And that's because this switch is actually lit. So 3 of those connections, one is going to be power coming in constant, window up, window down, that's your 3 wires. The 4th wire is most likely to be a ground wire for the light that's inside there. The light will get its power from the same feed as the switch. And then the ground probably runs through the dimmer, so you can dim that up and down, but that little window symbol will light up. So lots of different switches to use and lots of different circuit diagrams. I left my pen over there. I'm going to draw some circuit diagrams on there so you can see some of the differences and what these look like in a circuit. Single pole, single throw. Pretty straightforward switch. Normally open, that's it. Power comes in, interrupted, power goes out. You've seen those on my diagrams before. Double pole, single throw. It's going to look like this. It's going to have a dashed line in between those two to indicate they move together. Now I ran out of space, so I erased it. Let's do a double pole, double throw switch. So wires coming in, we've got 2 switches, we've got 2 sets of outgoing contacts. These are tied together. That's not how it looks on the back of the switch, but that's how you kind of have to draw it. So here we would have 2 going out, and if we said that we had 2 going out the other way here, so when we flick the switch this way, these 2 are powered. So let's call those number 1, and then these ones here are number 2. So if this is positive and you flick the switch on, 1 gets positive, and this is negative, 1 gets negative. You switch it the other way, this is positive, you get positive to 2, and we get negative to 2. Separate inside the switch, but they both get the same end result because the switch moves together. As you can see, it can get pretty complicated in the drawings. If you're interested in this kind of thing, just start Googling images for SPST, DPDT, there's tons of stuff out there. Bottom line of this is there's a lot of things you can do with switches. Don't get overly confused by the nomenclature of them or the number of contacts on the back. If you look at how many polarities you're trying to switch or poles and how many different functions you're trying to do, how many throws, you should be able to figure out what switch you need. If you have any questions or comments, post them down below. I'll do my best to answer the questions for you. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it helps somebody. And stick around, there's more videos to come. Check it out on Instagram. I'm always posting pictures. If you like stuff like this, hit the subscribe button, click the bell. See you around next time. Thanks.